Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so excited and happy to be talking about this today, that which is energy system regulation. So, this is my new earth label, if you will, is energy system regulator for the vibration of animals and humans. I bit my tongue in my sleep the other night, so when I talk, it's a little bit messes me up a little bit. So that is my new earth label. That's my job. That's part of my purpose here. And I have spent a lot of time this year to birth this out. This isn't a weekend course that I got to go take and suddenly I'm certified. I have completely and 100% dove in, consulted my guides. I've been in quantum to channel this out and to birth this out. So it's here. And I'm really excited to be talking about this today. So, energy system regulation. Let's first talk a little bit about why you might need something like energy system regulation. So, as we go through life, we are programmed and conditioned with beliefs and behaviors and patterns. And then, we experience trauma, no matter how small or large. We experience bullying, maybe throughout high school. That's an example. We are taught to suppress our emotions a lot of the time. And so, those things show up energetically within your body as these kind of little like blocks. So it's like if you visualize the energy within your body as a series of like freeways or highways where they all kind of have their own lane, they're all doing their own thing, everything's meant to just run smoothly. Okay? So the energy within your body is meant to run smoothly, it's meant to flow freely, and that facilitates a balanced and a regulated body, mind, soul, emotions, mental state, right? Everything, because we're all connected. Those parts of ourselves are not separate, it's all one. And so these highways, everything's great. Everything's all the cars, everything's going as it's meant to be. Everything's flowing freely. And then you experience something, again, whether that's emotional suppression, maybe there's an inner child trauma. The list could literally go on and on, so I won't dive too deeply into that. You experience something that places within you energetically a roadblock. Okay, so now there's one of your highways within is blocked off. So the energy cannot flow freely. So there's a traffic jam. It becomes more backed up, and things pile up and pile up and pile up. So that's why when you begin awakening, when you begin healing, there's layers, right? There's layers that I know you've probably heard this before, but it's like peeling an onion, right? Where you address one layer, there's a layer underneath. So because you maybe have not been aware of energy or how energy within you is meant to flow so that things are working wonderfully, everything's in balance, so to speak, things get blocked up. So, how I generally see this when I go into an energy system regulation session is I do all of my work in the quantum field. So I work mainly remotely. So people who are not here with me physically receiving a session, and I meet up with them, quote unquote, in the quantum field. So I'm able to access energy, I'm able to access timelines, I'm able to access all of these different things. And so when I'm in a session, I see a kind of zoomed out version or vision of whoever it is I'm working with. And how it shows up for me is that where the energy isn't moving, it shows up like a little tangle. So it's like a tangled ball of yarn. So it's very difficult to explain, so bear with me. Hopefully this will end up making sense. So it's like here's the tangled ball of yarn, but all other little pieces of yarn are still coming off of that and still maybe are looking like everything's kind of flowing smoothly. But then there's this big tangle. that stops everything else from flowing, okay? So it shows up as a tangle, and what I do is I essentially zoom in to that area. Again, I use quotes a lot in videos and sessions, is I zoom in and then I am able to get a closer look at what's actually causing that spot of energy that's not moving. So whatever you want to call it, blocked energy, stuck energy, however that kind of resonates for you. But, I'll call it tangled energy. So I zoom in and then I can access, where this stems from. What part of the body is this affecting? If it is affecting maybe on a physical level even. So we might go into things like inner child. We might go into things like past lives. We might go into things like belief systems or conditioning or programming or patterns or past traumas or, as I said earlier, the list really just goes on. So it's really unlimited as to what we are able to tap into as to what is causing that little tangle of energy within you. Now, this is where it gets really fun and really exciting. So my part of my work has a lot to do with animals, and more specifically the frequency of animals. And I've talked about animals and kind of how all of this works on my Instagram, so you can feel free. I'll put all of that stuff in the description. But essentially, animals are very grounded, very sensitive in their own energy, in their own vibration, in their own frequency. And so their energy systems, their stuff flows in a very defined, very specific way. And it's very hard to knock that out of balance, okay? Because animals don't have this conscious mind. They don't have this ego. They don't have these stories or this past, or, they do have a past, but, it's not all of these things that they're just like constantly thinking about and dwelling on. So they're just very in their energy, and that's it, okay? So when I'm working in quantum, I am matching essentially the frequency or the vibration that animals are vibrating at. So I have like a quantum team of animals that I work with where I am in that frequency. And so how this shows up, or what this sort of looks like, to have a little bit of a visual of it, is I'm in quantum, or even if I'm doing an in-person session physically, is I have my dogs here. In the future, I'm going to have larger animals. I live on a farm. There's going to be donkeys and horses and maybe sheep and pigs and who knows what else. But essentially what happens is I access that naturally regulated, that naturally balanced energy that those animals are running on, right? Their frequency that they're running on, that comes into my body and I self-regulate that. So then I kind of use that, I harness their energy to then regulate and shift the energy within you that's not moving, that's out of balance, that's stuck, okay? So this is very, very new earth. This is very, very much work that is felt. It's not to say that it's not meant to be understood by the mind, but it's very much beyond the thinking mind. So, we're moving beyond that needing to understand how something works into the feeling of it. So being able to let go and being able to trust that whatever needs to be addressed will be addressed, and all of these shifts that happen on the subtle energetic levels that are happening out in quantum then translate into the physical reality, so your physical body. So hopefully that makes some sense, where you're able to get a feeling for what this looks like, what this kind of feels like. Now, that being said, oftentimes, my dog's snoring beside me, I don't know if you can hear her or not. Oftentimes we get thinking, or we are just so kind of deep in our own shit, basically, that we can't see, or we're in denial that there's things that maybe need to shift within us. Or that maybe because your body isn't showing any physical symptoms of any sort, that there's nothing going on underneath the surface, right? It's really easy to kind of get caught up in these types of beliefs as well. I can almost 100% guarantee that you can benefit and that things will shift for you with an energy system regulation session. Okay, so that's just something to consider, because I know how loud the ego can pipe in and say nothing's wrong, everything's fine. And this isn't my way of pushing. This is just my way of maybe creating a little bit of awareness within you. This type of work addresses anything and everything, literally. So depression, anxiety, endocrine diseases, like insomnia, headaches, right? Like those physical symptoms, but then also that then goes up a level into the emotions of things, into the energy, right, of why these things are showing up for you. Because anything physical, there's an energetic reason, there's an energetic root to why those things are manifesting, okay? So I think that's it. This is my first time really, really opening up and talking about what this is, how this works, because I've been doing my own work to birth this out. And this is my first kind of official, here is what this is. So I tend to make videos, or I record a podcast episode where there's things that I want to talk about, and then it'll be, a couple hours later, and something will ping me and it'll be, oh shoot, I should have mentioned that. So hopefully I'm just going to trust that this is going to be the kind of basic explanation of what you guys need to learn, quote unquote, learn what this is and what this looks like. So just a little bit of kind of nuts and bolts of what a session actually would entail is you can reach me by email, is how I prefer to be contacted if you're actually booking. And as I said, I work remotely. So I do offer in-person sessions, but where I currently physically live, it's not a largely populated area. It's not even an area where all that many people are in a little bit of a state of higher vibration where they're kind of ready for this type of thing. And so a lot of my work is done remotely. So distance, right? Distance sessions. So I can work with you no matter where you are in the world. That's how energy works, okay? Is that you don't have to be here with me physically. And so we don't do currently, so today's November 27th, 2020. Currently, this is how I do my sessions. I don't do them live on like Skype or Zoom or phone. I record the session as an audio file, and then I send that to you when it's completed, and then you are then able to listen at your own convenience. So we don't need to worry about scheduling a specific time. You can go about your day, your life as normal. Right now, I'm booking generally a week or so in advance. Some days less, some days a little bit more. So that's kind of where things are at right now. Sessions are prepaid and non-refundable, and you then will also, after you listen to your session, have an opportunity to email with any questions or chat about what came up in your session, give any feedback, and kind of have that little bit of a back and forth just afterwards if there was things that maybe weren't clear, or again, that you just have questions about. So that's it. I'm so excited about this. I became aware back in May that this is, my in alignment with my higher self, if you will. And I was very overwhelmed to be kind of guided that I would be birthing out my own healing. I don't love that word, but for lack of a better word at this point in time, was a very overwhelming thing. So the fact that I'm here now and I've worked on this and it's here and it's ready, it's so exciting. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, you can get a hold of me. Again, I'll put all of my information down in the description. I can't give a better explanation than I did in this video. So if you're searching for something more to help you understand, you're not going to get it. You have to go by that feeling of, does this feel right for you? Does your soul lead you here? There's a reason why you're here watching this video, right? And so just trust those intuitive nudges, right? Trust those little pings that you get of whether it's your guides or your higher self or something within you that nudges you forward toward this. Just trust that, okay? Book yourself in for a session, and I'll leave it at that. So thanks so much for being here, you guys. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. And I hope to be working with you very, very soon. Bye, guys.